You have the power right now in this very moment to choose how you respond to every single person who comes into your life. That choice is yours alone. No one can take it from you. No one can force you to feel bad about yourself. No one can make you angry, frustrated, or upset without your permission. This is the most liberating truth you will ever learn, and once you truly understand it, your entire life will change. Every day you encounter people who seem determined to bring you down. They complain constantly. They criticize everything you do. They find fault with every idea you share. They drain your energy with their endless negativity. These people are everywhere, in your family, at your workplace, in your neighborhood, even among those you once considered friends. But here's what you need to understand. Their negativity says nothing about you and everything about them. When someone chooses to be negative, they are revealing their inner state. They are showing you where they are spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. Their criticism of you is really their own self-criticism projected outward. Their anger toward you is their own inner turmoil seeking an outlet. Their attempts to make you feel small are desperate attempts to make themselves feel bigger. You don't have to participate in their drama. Think about this for a moment. Have you ever noticed that truly happy, fulfilled people don't spend their time tearing others down? They don't waste their precious energy looking for flaws in everyone around them. They don't feel compelled to criticize, judge, or condemn. Why? Because they are too busy creating, loving, growing, and contributing. They understand that what you focus on expands, so they focus on what they want more of in their lives. Negative people, on the other hand, are stuck in patterns of lack and limitation. They see problems everywhere because they have trained their minds to look for problems. They find reasons to complain because complaining has become their default response to life. They spread negativity because they are drowning in it themselves and don't know how to swim to shore. But you are not responsible for saving them. You are not required to absorb their toxic energy. You are not obligated to defend yourself against their attacks. You have a higher calling, a more important mission, and that mission is to be true to your authentic self, regardless of what anyone else thinks, says, or does. The moment you realize that other people's opinions of you are none of your business, you become free. Let me say that again because it's so important. Other people's opinions of you are none of your business. What they think about you is about them, not about you. It reflects their level of consciousness, their fears, their insecurities, their limitations. It has nothing to do with your worth, your value, or your potential. You came into this world as a perfect spiritual being having a human experience. You were born with infinite potential, unlimited creativity, and the capacity for boundless love. You were not born to spend your life seeking approval from others or defending yourself against their negativity. You were born to express your unique gifts, to contribute something beautiful to this world, and to experience joy, peace, and fulfillment. When someone tries to make you feel bad about yourself, they are essentially asking you to abandon your true nature and join them in their misery. They want you to lower your vibration to match theirs. They want you to doubt yourself the way they doubt themselves. They want you to feel as limited and stuck as they do. But you don't have to accept their invitation. Instead, you can choose to respond from your highest self. You can choose love over fear, peace over conflict, understanding over judgment. You can choose to see them as wounded souls rather than enemies. You can choose compassion over retaliation, wisdom over reaction. This doesn't mean you become a doormat or allow people to walk all over you. It means you maintain your inner peace regardless of how others behave. It means you stay connected to your source of strength and wisdom. It means you respond rather than react, and your responses come from a place of centered calm rather than emotional turmoil. When someone criticizes you, instead of getting defensive, you can simply say, "Thank you for sharing your perspective." When someone tries to make you angry, you can choose to remain peaceful. When someone attempts to drag you into their drama, you can politely decline to participate. You always have these choices, and the more you practice making them, the stronger you become. The key to dealing with negative people is to understand that their behavior is not personal, even when it feels like it is. They would be negative toward anyone in your position because negativity is their default mode. They have learned to see the world through the lens of criticism, judgment, and complaint. They have trained their minds to focus on what's wrong rather than what's right. They have developed the habit of looking for reasons to be upset rather than reasons to be grateful. But you don't have to see the world the way they do. You can train your mind to look for the good in every situation. You can develop the habit of appreciation and gratitude. You can choose to focus on solutions rather than problems, possibilities rather than limitations, love rather than fear. When you consistently choose positive responses to negative people, something remarkable happens. You begin to realize that you have complete control over your inner state. You discover that your peace doesn't depend on how others treat you. You learn that your happiness is an inside job that no one else can interfere with unless you give them permission. This realization is incredibly empowering because it means you are never a victim of anyone else's behavior. You are always in charge of how you feel and how you respond. You are the author of your own emotional experience. You are the director of your own life story. Some of the most negative people in your life may be family members or close friends. This can be particularly challenging because you love these people and want to maintain relationships with them. But loving someone doesn't mean you have to absorb their negativity or allow them to contaminate your energy field. You can love someone from a distance. You can wish them well while protecting your own well-being. You can send them positive thoughts and prayers while limiting your exposure to their toxic behavior. You can be kind and compassionate without being available for every complaint, criticism, or negative outburst. Setting boundaries with negative people is not only acceptable, it's necessary for your spiritual and emotional health. You have the right to protect your energy. You have the right to choose who you spend time with and how much time you spend with them. You have the right to walk away from conversations that serve no positive purpose. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for a negative person is to stop enabling their negativity by refusing to participate in it. When you stop feeding their drama with your emotional reactions, they may eventually be motivated to find more positive ways to get attention and connection. But even if they don't change, you will have changed, and that's what matters most. You will have learned to maintain your inner peace regardless of external circumstances. You will have developed the spiritual muscle of non-reactivity. You will have discovered the incredible freedom that comes from knowing that no one can disturb your peace without your consent. Many people spend their entire lives trying to change the negative people around them. They argue, they plead, they get frustrated, they give ultimatums, they exhaust themselves trying to convince others to be more positive, more supportive, more understanding. But this is like trying to push water uphill. You cannot change another person's consciousness. You cannot force someone to see the world differently. You cannot make someone choose positivity if they are committed to negativity. The only person you can change is yourself. And when you change yourself, everything around you changes. When you stop reacting to negativity, negative people either adjust their behavior around you or they drift out of your life, making room for more positive people to enter. When you raise your own vibration, you naturally attract people who vibrate at similar frequencies. When you choose joy, peace, and love as your default states, you magnetize others who have made similar choices. When you become the kind of person you want to be around, you start attracting those kinds of people into your experience. This is how the universe works. Like attracts like. Energy attracts matching energy. Consciousness attracts similar consciousness. If you want to be surrounded by positive people, become a positive person. If you want to experience more love in your life, become more loving. If you want more peace in your relationships, become more peaceful yourself. The beautiful thing about this approach is that it works regardless of what anyone else does. You don't have to wait for others to change before you can be happy. You don't have to hope that negative people will suddenly become positive. You can be peaceful, joyful, and loving right now, regardless of who is in your life or how they're behaving. When you encounter a negative person, you can silently bless them and wish them well. You can send them love and light mentally while maintaining your own positive state. You can see them as fellow travelers on this spiritual path who happen to be going through a difficult phase. You can have compassion for their struggle without making their struggle your own. Now, this shift in perspective is profound. Instead of seeing negative people as obstacles or enemies, you begin to see them as teachers who are helping you develop patience, compassion, and spiritual strength. They are providing you with opportunities to practice unconditional love, non-reactivity, and inner peace. They are showing you how strong you've become by giving you chances to demonstrate your growth. Every negative person who crosses your path is actually a gift, though it may not feel like it at the time. They are mirrors reflecting back to you any areas where you still need to grow. If someone's criticism bothers you, it may be because part of you believes their criticism might be true. If someone's anger triggers your anger, it may be because you still have unresolved anger within yourself. These people are helping you identify where you're not yet free, where you're still attached to outcomes, where you're still seeking external validation. They are showing you the places within yourself that need more love, acceptance, and healing. When you see negative people as spiritual teachers rather than tormentors, everything changes. You stop taking their behavior personally. You stop feeling like a victim. You start feeling grateful for the lessons they're providing. You begin to see every encounter as an opportunity to practice your spiritual principles in real-world situations. This doesn't mean you enjoy being around negative people or that you seek out their company. It simply means you no longer fear them or allow them to disturb your peace. You know that you can handle whatever they bring because you have developed the inner resources to remain centered regardless of external storms. The more you practice this approach, the more natural it becomes. Staying peaceful in the presence of negativity becomes second nature. Responding with love when others respond with fear becomes automatic. Maintaining your high vibration, regardless of who's around, becomes effortless. You begin to realize that you are not at the mercy of other people's moods, attitudes, or behaviors. You are the master of your own inner state. You are the guardian of your own peace. You are the protector of your own joy. This mastery doesn't happen overnight. It takes practice, patience, and persistence. There will be times when you get pulled back into reactive patterns. There will be moments when negative people succeed in pushing your buttons. There will be days when maintaining your positive attitude feels like an uphill battle. But each time you catch yourself and choose to respond differently, you get stronger. Each time you refuse to participate in drama, you become more centered. Each time you choose love over fear, peace over conflict, understanding over judgment, you align more fully with your true nature. Remember that spiritual growth is a process, not a destination. You're not trying to become perfect. You're not trying to never feel challenged by negative people. You're simply learning to respond from your highest self more often than you respond from your ego-wounded self. Be patient with yourself as you develop these new patterns. Celebrate small victories. Notice when you handle a difficult person better than you would have in the past. Acknowledge your growth, even when you feel you still have far to go. The truth is, negative people will always exist in this world. There will always be individuals who choose criticism over creativity, complaint over gratitude, fear over love. This is part of the human experience. But you don't have to let their choices determine your experience. You can walk through a world full of negativity while maintaining your own positive state. You can be surrounded by people who see problems while you focus on solutions. You can be in the presence of those who spread darkness while you radiate light. Your light doesn't depend on anyone else's light. Your peace doesn't require anyone else's peace. Your joy is not contingent on anyone else's joy. You are complete within yourself. You are whole unto yourself. You are enough just as you are. When you truly understand this, you stop looking to others for validation, approval, or permission to be happy. You stop waiting for negative people to change before you allow yourself to feel good. You stop making your inner state dependent on external circumstances. You realize that happiness is your natural state, peace is your birthright, and love is your essence. These qualities don't come from outside you. They flow from within you. They are not dependent on favorable conditions. They are available to you in any condition. This is the secret to dealing with negative people. You don't actually have to deal with them in the traditional sense. You don't have to figure out how to change them, fix them, or make them see things differently. You simply have to remember who you are and stay connected to that truth regardless of how they behave. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. You are here to learn, grow, love, and contribute. You are here to express your unique gifts and fulfill your highest purpose. You are not here to be diminished by small-minded people or derailed by those who have forgotten their own magnificence. When you keep this bigger picture in mind, the daily encounters with negative people become much less significant. They become temporary inconveniences rather than major obstacles. They become opportunities to practice your spiritual principles rather than threats to your well-being. You begin to see that every person who challenges you is actually helping you become stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. They are contributing to your spiritual development whether they realize it or not. They are serving your highest good, even when their intentions may not be positive. This perspective transforms everything. Instead of dreading encounters with difficult people, you can approach them with curiosity. Instead of feeling defensive when someone criticizes you, you can listen for any kernel of truth that might help you grow. Instead of getting angry when someone tries to bring you down, you can feel compassion for their pain. This doesn't make you weak or passive. It makes you incredibly powerful because you are operating from a place of choice rather than reaction. You are responding from wisdom rather than emotion. You are coming from love rather than fear. When you consistently respond to negativity with positivity, several things happen. First, you feel better about yourself because you know you've acted from your highest nature. Second, you often diffuse the negative situation because your peaceful energy has a calming effect on others. Third, you inspire positive change in some people who are touched by your example. But even when none of these things happen, even when the negative person remains negative and the situation doesn't improve, you still win because you have remained true to yourself. You have honored your values. You have acted in alignment with your highest understanding. This is what integrity looks like in action. This is what spiritual maturity means. This is how you create a life of inner peace and authentic happiness regardless of external circumstances. You don't need everyone to like you, approve of you, or understand you. You don't need every encounter to be pleasant or every relationship to be harmonious. You simply need to be yourself, love yourself, and trust yourself to handle whatever comes your way. The people who are meant to be in your life will recognize and appreciate your authentic self. The relationships that are meant to flourish will thrive when you show up as who you really are. The connections that are meant to last will deepen when you stop trying to please everyone and start honoring your own truth. As for the negative people, some will eventually be inspired by your example and begin to shift their own attitudes. Others will find that their negativity doesn't get the reaction they're looking for and will move on to more reactive targets. Still others will remain exactly as they are, but they will no longer have the power to disturb your peace. In the end, dealing with negative people is really about dealing with yourself. It's about developing such a strong connection to your own inner peace that external disturbances cannot shake you. It's about cultivating such deep self-love that others' criticism cannot wound you. It's about maintaining such clarity about your purpose that others' attempts to distract you cannot succeed. This is the path to freedom. This is the way to authentic power. This is how you create a life of joy, peace, and fulfillment regardless of who crosses your path or how they behave. You have everything you need within you right now to handle any negative person or situation. You have the power to choose your response. You have the ability to maintain your peace. You have the strength to stay true to your values. Trust in these capabilities. Rely on these inner resources. Know that you are far more powerful than any negativity that might come your way. Your life is precious. Your time is valuable. Your energy is sacred. Don't waste these gifts on people who don't appreciate them or situations that drain them unnecessarily. Instead, invest them in relationships that nurture you, activities that inspire you, and purposes that fulfill you. Remember, you attract what you are, not what you want. If you want more positive people in your life, become more positive yourself. If you want more love in your relationships, become more loving yourself. If you want more peace in your daily experience, become more peaceful yourself. This is the only thing that's really within your control. And fortunately, it's the only thing you need to control. When you take full responsibility for your own inner state and stop trying to control or change others, you discover a freedom and power you never knew you had. You are not a victim of other people's negativity. You are not powerless in the face of criticism or judgment. You are not dependent on others' approval for your happiness. You are a sovereign being with the ability to create your own experience regardless of what anyone else does or says. Step into this power. Claim this freedom. Live this truth. Your life is waiting for you to remember who you really are and to stop letting anyone or anything convince you otherwise. The negative people in your life are not your problem to solve. They are not your responsibility to fix. They are not your burden to carry. Your only job is to be the best version of yourself you can be and to let that light shine, regardless of the darkness that others might bring. When you do this consistently, when you make this your practice, when you live this as your truth, you will find that your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. You will attract more positive people. You will create more harmonious relationships. You will experience more joy, peace, and fulfillment. But most importantly, you will discover that you are already complete, whole, and perfect just as you are. You will realize that your worth doesn't depend on anyone else's opinion. You will know beyond doubt that you are enough, you have always been enough, and you will always be enough. This is the ultimate protection against negativity. This is the final answer to difficult people. This is the key to a life of authentic happiness and inner peace. You already have everything you need. You already are everything you need to be. Trust in this truth. Live from this knowing and watch as your entire world transforms.